The Leaf organization needs to use their fucking heads and try to lead by example, because the tickets are extremely high priced. A regular guy cannot go see a Leaf game. Can a regular blue-collar guy bring his kid or his family to a Leaf game? Perry, you're a journalist.
No, I mean, it's the price of going to a game is beyond the moon. That's what you're asking me. Can a parent take his kid? Did I hear you correct? Can a parent take his kid to the game?
Or kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's the price of going to a Leaf game is very exclusive to the people that can afford to do it, which are basically a lot of corporations that have already bought the tickets to give away to not necessarily fans. It's for business deals. So the Joe Blow fan who wants to go to these games can't go to these games because he's excluded or she is excluded.
Well, they can't take it out of the family budget, that's for sure.
How much will a Leaf game cost?
Well, if you got $1.50 a ticket, you take the wife and the two kids, that's $600.
That's if you combine face value.
Yeah. And we're not even talking about parking, we're not even talking about the cost of actually when you're in the game for buying food and whatever, right? We're talking about hundreds of dollars right now. And you're right, Frank.
About a $500 night.
More.
Minimum.
Because you're saying that's the price of getting the tickets. You're going to buy it off a scalper or whoever you're going to get it. You're likely going to pay above the face value.
Is that fair?
It's not fair, but
is that fair?
Is it fair? No. But is that what it is? That's what it is.
That's reality. That's reality in Toronto with the Maple Leafs. And don't tell me how we got to where we're at. But not having.
But that's why the Buffalo Sabres are so popular. I could go see Toronto play Buffalo in Buffalo for a quarter of the price.
Absolutely.
And great seats, great time, great food, great fans, and be back in bed within an hour and a half.
But do you want to go to Buffalo to watch the Buffalo Sabres, or do you want to be in Toronto watching the Leafs? You're a huge fan, Frank. What would you rather do?
I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars watching the Leafs in my lifetime. I'm just saying I could go to Niagara Falls, Ontario, which is absolutely spectacular, gorgeous, a lot of fun things, a lot of great restaurants, go see a Buffalo game, maybe play a little blackjack, and spend a quarter of the price than if I went to downtown to the ACC, and it's cheaper to buy a parked car than to fucking park the car and go see a Leaf game. That is wrong. For somebody who's born and raised in Toronto, it is wrong. And,
Frank,
and for the average human being who works their ass off cannot go see a Leaf game live is wrong, in my view.
That's a monopoly.
Even the movies on Wednesdays, or they have a certain day that it's very cheap. And the Leafs should do that at least once a week. They should have it accessible for people. At least one game a week, a month. That's called respect for your fans, in my view. I could be wrong.
Nobody's forcing them, Frank. It's a monopoly, and let's not...
It is a monopoly.
Yeah.
It is a monopoly. You're 100% correct. It's a monopoly.
It's the Harold Ballard School of Marketing. Do you want the tickets? You pay for them. If you don't, I'll buy them back from you. That's as simple as that.
Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah, it's a bizarre way of doing business, but that's the way they do it down at MLSE.
And again, Frank, you're a businessman. I asked you this before. If you have a chance to make as much money as you can, are you going to look at it from the moral or ethical point of view that, you know what?
You know what? I'm not saying this because I'm broadcasting. I always do everything on the moral aspect. Any product that we do, I got to be proud of it that I'm going to use myself, or that I would be proud to give to my kids. I don't really give a fuck about money. Been to the penthouse, been to the basement, been to the penthouse, been to the basement. I really don't give a shit. I really don't. So that's me. And maybe that might not be the right formula to be a successful business. So maybe I'm the wrong guy to talk to. But I've never been like that, never will be, as long as I walk this planet, and I don't believe in that shit. So if I ever was an executive or an owner of a professional team, I'd make sure that we'd be successful, we'd be competitive, but I would not punish my fans. That's me. Okay?
Yep, it's fair enough. I mean, it's an analogy. We're talking about capitalism right now, and if you had that option to do it, that's what you would do. They are capitalists. They choose not to do that. They choose to go in the complete opposite direction.
Choose not to do that because of what Billy said. They have a monopoly. If they ever got it up the ass with some serious competition, because there should be. New York has got 4 fucking teams. We're Canada, where hockey is the frenzy, the craziness of people's appetite for sport. It makes absolutely, unequivocally no sense.
And yet, if you look at Montreal's situation, when that team is doing poorly, the attendance does drop, and they notice it. In Toronto, that'll never, ever happen. As a matter of fact, if this team starts to get good, like what happened a couple of years ago in the playoffs, the demand, the appetite will get even better. They're in a situation right now where they can't lose except they're losing games, but as a business, they can't lose.
Well, the only thing they're losing, and they refuse to admit it, is the gates for every playoff game that we used to get on a regular basis. I mean, the gate has to be at least $3 million for the opening round, at least $3 million. 20,000.
Listen. There's room for at least 3 teams in Southern Ontario. There's rooms for 3 teams in Ontario for the NHL. We are the province with the largest population in Canada. There's 2 teams in Alberta. There's 2 teams in Ontario, which has, 9 times the population of what Alberta has?
Sure. I don't even...
Makes absolutely no fucking sense.